Very lucky to have on the line with me today Tobias from Avantasia. Tobias, thanks for taking the time to talk to me today.
Well, thanks for talking to me today.
It's an absolute pleasure. Right, now with Avantasia, you've had 3 periods of activity, I suppose you could call them. Is that due to fitting in work with Edguy as well?
Well, I try to have some certain diversity in my life, and it was the first time I did Avantasia. It was pretty much the initial spark came on a tour bus with that guy, and I just thought, oh wow, I want to do something outside of this. That was in '99. I had been doing Edguy for 7 years by that time, and I thought, wow, I should be doing like a little side project. So I just did 2 albums, and then I went back touring the world with Edguy, and just left it at that for like 5 or 6 years. But then I thought, like, well, it would be time to do something outside Edguy again, because I just had, the idea of doing something that would, keep me excited. I don't want to say I'm not excited by Edguy. It's just, when you're working with the same chaps for forever, you sometimes need some excitement outside of it. It's just I've never had worked with other musicians before Edguy. Edguy was my first band and still is the only band I have worked with outside Avantasia now. So I thought I should do that, and it was never planned to be a live touring entity. It was just meant to be a studio project. But then I was offered to headline the biggest heavy metal festival in the world, Wacken. And then you ask that question to yourself, am I a complete fool if I turn down that offer? Because you're a musician, you started out with dreams, and you started out to make a living from playing your music, and all of a sudden you get the chance to headline the biggest heavy metal festival in the world. So I said, okay, I always said I'm not going to do anything live outside Edguy, but I have to take up on that offer. And all of a sudden, once it was released that we were playing that festival, promoters from all over the world came and asked, oh, you want to play this festival? Oh, we want you to headline one night at Sweden Rock Festival and Masters of Rock Festival, the biggest rock festivals in Europe.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, promoters from Asia came and South America, and I just said, okay, let's do it. It's just for a certain amount of time, and then I'm going to be back with Edguy. So to answer your question, I still believe that Edguy is my main band.
Yeah, okay.
And I still perceive it as that, but I would not want to miss out on doing asserted shows with Avantasia and asserted stunts, because this is just too special. I mean, we're unique. There's nothing like Avantasia. There is Trans-Siberian Orchestra, but that's a complete different story. That's like more of a circus, where the music kind of, I mean, I really like it, and I like the people who are running the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. John Oliva, great guy, and they are doing amazing stuff. But that's more like a show, a high gloss show, and the music is kind of not the center of what they are doing.
Yeah.
It's certainly not rock and roll. It's more of a big production, like half a movie and it's a different thing. So Avantasia is unique, and I just realized that a while ago, how unique we are worldwide. There is nothing like Avantasia, and if you have created something like that, you should be allowed to do it every now and then.
Fair enough.
To the world.
Like 7 albums later, you got your 7th album coming out at the end of this month. It's called Ghost Lights. Tell us about the process for that. I mean, at 70 minutes, that's a big album.
Yeah, well, the process was pretty chaotic. It was just, as every time I start to work on an album, I was sitting in my basement and, playing around on a keyboard, putting together song ideas, while I had a topic in the back of my mind that I wanted to write a storyline about, to give my view on my point of view on a certain topic and certain ideas. So the fact that it became a 70 minutes piece of music, I was not really happy with that, because I have to say, I think if an album is too long, it sucks. I mean, it doesn't necessarily suck, but I don't want albums that are too long, because it will bore the hell out of people, most likely.
Yeah.
In Avantasia's case, I mean, in this album's case in particular, it was different. I didn't perceive it as long as it is, because there's 11 lead singers. The music is so diverse. It's 12 tracks, and they don't really equal each other. And yet, together, they make a great, fantastic journey. It's almost as if it was a movie for the ears. And it doesn't get boring. You want to hear the next song, and at some point you realize, wow, it's over already. And you don't have the feeling that it was lengthy. So I could live with that. I tried to make it shorter. I tried to think which song could we throw off the album, but there was no song that I wanted to let go. So we had to keep all the material on the album, and it came together very organically. It's very chaotic. You have song ideas, and you're playing around, and you have a chorus, and you make a song in the back of your mind. You know, oh, this could be the passage where the protagonist is having a conversation with someone, you immediately know subconsciously which part of the story is going to be covered by a certain piece of music.
Yeah. Now, as typical for an Avantasia album, you've got a guest list that reads like a who's who of the modern rock scene. How have you managed to get all these people in? I mean, it seems like they just all stop what they're doing and come running. You've got that many people on it, and they're big names too.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Some of these people I've been friends with for a long time, like Michael Kiske and Bob Catley and Johan Lander and Ronnie Atkins. Also Sharon Donato. She was a part of a member of the Avantasia family back in the day when we did the first album. That was way before Within Temptation, her own band, became a triple platinum act. That was when they were a small underground band. We were all small underground bands back then. So I've known her for a very long time. And Marco Hietala from Nightwish, they are label mates. I've known them back in the day when we did our first albums with that guy. We did that in Helsinki. Nightwish was an underground band back then. I've heard their first demo. That was way before Marco Hietala was actually in the band. So it's a small incestuous business, and everybody knows everybody. And I've been in this business for 24 years now. So you have met most people anywhere in this world, and some I've known for a very long time, some I've been friends with for a very long time. In the cases of Dee Snider and Jeff Tate, who are two new musicians, two new singers on the album that I've never worked with and that I did not know personally. I had met Dee Snider briefly, but he didn't remember probably. So it was pretty much just asking their managers, and they wanted to listen to the tracks, both Jeff and Dee, and they liked what they heard, and they thought they thought they wouldn't do any harm to their own careers if they would grant me that wish and sing on the album. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay. Now the album's coming out later on this month. Now you've released almost like a teaser track, I suppose, "The Mystery of a Blood Red Rose." How was that? How was that received?
Great. I mean, I didn't hear anything bad about it. Of course, I don't read and listen to every opinion. Sometimes I see on Facebook some people say, "Ah, it's a great track," and some very few people, as always, say like, "Wow, that's crap. You're selling out. That's commercial bullshit. Go back to your first demo days and be a true metal warrior." But that happens whatever you do.
Yeah.
So what's the point? I mean, I think it's been received quite positively, and it's not a track that you would necessarily expect from Avantasia, and at the same time, it is music that sounds familiar in the Avantasia cosmos.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not the kind of track that you would normally release as the first single in the 21st century, because it sounds like it was written in '77, when and it could stand on Bat Out of Hell. But the thing is, still, it's a great track, I think, and I think music is timeless, and whatever I do, it will not become a huge hit anyway. So even if I release something that resembles Bon Jovi, or if I release something that reminds people of Robbie Williams or Pink or Adele, or I could do everything. It wouldn't be a big hit because it says Avantasia on it. So why not just do something that I believe in?
That's fair enough. Now, are you taking this out on the road?
Yeah, but unfortunately not to Australia. And that's not your fault. I mean, partly it is, because you live in Australia. And because Australia is so far away from anywhere else where it makes sense to go. I mean, I always say, like, okay, it's not on the way to anywhere. I mean, you can go to Moscow because it's on the way to Tokyo. You can go to Tokyo because it's on the way to the west coast of the USA. And you can go to the west coast of the USA because it's on the way to South America when you come from Tokyo. And everything makes sense tectonically, geographically. Only you Australians have to be that special exceptions that are not on the way to anywhere. Yep. Except from Tasmania, maybe, but nobody wants to do a 4 weeks tour of Tasmania. Not if you're reasonable, and not if you have 25 people on your payroll.
Do you ever feel? I mean, I've seen like some of these shows. Do you ever feel like this is just? Do you ever get to a stage where you wonder, is this too big to take on the road?
Well, I was at that stage for like 7 or 8 years in my life before we did the first shows with Avantasia. When I started it in '99, I mean, back then already people asked, like, is there a possibility of a live show, maybe like some residential somewhere, like a musical? And I said, like, no, we're not going to do it. It doesn't make sense. I don't want to do it. And then all of a sudden it happened, and we got those offers, and Sasha, my guitar player and producer, said, like, let's do it. We're going to find a way to make this work. And we did it. So in the beginning, I thought it's never going to happen. And I still remember the 20 minutes prior to the first show we ever did with Avantasia. I was in summer 2008 in Switzerland. I was behind the stage, and I was like a tiger in a cage walking up and down, thinking, probably saying to myself, what an idiot are you, getting yourself into such an inconvenient situation. Because I never had been on stage with a different band than Edguy and some small cover band here in our region. And all of a sudden I had to be on stage with something I did not know would work live on stage.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So in the beginning, I didn't think it would happen. Now I'm confident, we have made this work for so many times. It's great to be able to be doing it.
Right. Okay. Excellent. All right, Tobias, absolutely magnificent talking to you. Good luck with the new album that will be out towards the end of January, and good luck with everything to do with Avantasia. And thanks for talking to me again.
Thank you. Talk to you. Bye-bye, Mel.